It's the Joe Padula Show, Clarksville's conversation.
Absolutely. WTF. Is unemployment not being paid out to those who lost their jobs due to government shutdowns? Well, Red Pill Jen has some information coming out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Yeah, that's now on the Joe Padula Show. Absolutely. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, click the like, leave your comments. Definitely help us out. We're being shadow banned. How do we fight that? You sharing this video now helps out with the algorithms. Type in those comments, those questions. Do it. We're here for you. And we got a lawyer on standby.
That's right.
That's right. And if you got any movie questions, Bay is here. Okay. Guy knows his stuff. Red Pill Jen. What is this?
It's a mess.
Why?
It's a mess.
Well, I haven't even heard of this.
Well, I hadn't either. I didn't realize. Well, it's an issue, I guess, all over. But I really didn't. I didn't understand how bad it was in Kentucky, and it's not just Hoptown. It's everywhere.
Well, what's happening
in this state? So what's happening is people filed for unemployment under multiple different special acts. So the state of Kentucky offers anyone who qualifies up to 26 weeks of unemployment benefits under normal circumstances.
Okay.
So, as with everywhere else, they, under the CARES Act, I think they said an additional 13 weeks. So bottom line is it somehow ended up working out to be a total of 39 weeks that any Kentuckian who qualified could receive the unemployment.
How much would they receive? Do you know?
Paltry. It's really, of course it's going to depend on how much you've paid in and what you made prior.
And did the CARES Act added onto there, right?
The CARES Act didn't necessarily offer more money to people. It more broadened the horizons of who had the ability to apply and how long they would receive the benefits for. Okay. So that was the main purpose, and that's all over the U.S. That was applied to all over. The problem is that the CARES Act, among others, are set to expire. It's basically emergency funding. They're set to expire on the 26th of this, so basically next week.
Right.
There are still people who filed back in March who still have not yet received even one check. One woman estimates that she's owed somewhere in the neighborhood of $4,000 to $5,000. People are losing their homes. They're unable to pay their bills. And it's when Bashir is asked about it, it's the same old party line of, oh, well, we hear you. Yeah. We do. We're working on it. So the best I could find as far as the quote unquote reason for it is that what they were essentially doing, which would make logical sense, is to go back and to look at the oldest claims first, process those, because people are still filing.
Well, yeah, Kentucky, they got some draconian things going on over there with their shutdowns.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. And
nice job, Bevin. Right.
No, Bevin's out.
Bashir.
Bevin was a Republican.
I got my B's wrong.
Bashir.
Uncle Andy.
Bashir's a Democrat, and his father was governor.
Yeah, Bashir.
Which is crazy because everyone despises him now. And at the beginning of this pandemic, it was, oh, Andy. And now it's like, ugh, Andy. But yeah, it's a mess.
How can you give so much power over to one person? Is still, that seems to be just an ongoing theme. How?
Weakness in the General Assembly.
Seriously.
Well, plus you've got the issue that Kentucky's a Commonwealth state. Yeah. And so I know, like, when I was trying to do my research, there's stuff that just simply doesn't make sense because I've never lived in a Commonwealth. And it's similar, but it's different.
So why aren't these people getting their stuff, really? What's the real reason?
The primary complaint is that, they're trying to call and they're getting they're not getting called back. They're not able to speak to actual people.
Can't they talk to their Congress people?
You'd think, but they've tried and they've spoken to. Basically, the people they've exhausted their capabilities, and now the excuse that's being given to these poor people who can't even pay their mortgage, much less buy their kids Christmas, is that, oh well, what we had decided to do is we counted back from March, and then we started getting complaints. And we had fraudulent applications. And so we decided that we were going to basically stop counting and stop processing the requests that were coming in so that we could do our due diligence, so we could give everyone attention. So these requests just kept getting backlogged and backlogged and backlogged, and now they're at a point where something like 90,000 requests have not been processed as yet.
Damn.
And there are people who didn't get their benefits. There's people who received their benefits back in March, and you're supposed to get the 39 weeks.
Do you think they're doing it on purpose?
I do. Absolutely.
Why?
So they don't have to pay it out, because here's the thing is the way that the act is written is that, yeah, you get a maximum of 39 weeks. But unless something huge happens in the next week by the 26th, all right, the only people that are going to end up getting the maximum amount of benefits are going to be those who actually started receiving the money back in, say, March or April. Because let's say I get my benefits beginning next week. I'm getting 2 weeks of benefits, because come the 26th, that's it. They're not paying out anymore. You're done. So whether you got 2 weeks or 29 weeks, it doesn't matter.
Well, and there's this other thing too. Like, so Kentucky, she was talking about the amounts. The minimum amount of benefits is $39. The maximum, $39 a week and $415 a week. That's the minimum and maximum in Kentucky, and it's based on $39 a week. $39.00 per week, up to a maximum of $415 per week.
And based on your income. It's based on your income, but if you look
to unemployment.
And he's exactly right. And the issue is the average income that people are making off of unemployment, they ain't getting rich.
Right.
The average is approximately $93 a week. And I don't know about you, but I can't live off of $93 a week.
How can the state not be paying tens of thousands of people $39 a week?
It's preposterous. Well, because
a
lot of people,
when you sign up for unemployment, you have to put in a year or 6
the
months
coffers.
worth of employment history, so that they can calculate what your benefit will be.
Well, they do.
Right?
Imagine you got laid off in March, but your claim still hasn't been processed,
Yeah.
and for the last 9 months, you haven't had any income.
You're screwed.
Right? That's going to reduce your total overall benefit entitlement.
However, though, the one thing I will say is that Kentucky does have they've got multiple stipulations to what would be considered their basic unemployment laws. And one of the stipulations is that way back, I think in January, they had passed a law stating that they were going to overlook people that had minimal or no unemployment history. But that one's due to expire as well. So essentially what's going to happen is that from the 26th going forward into the first couple of months of the new year, unless someone gets off their hind end and passes some type of legislation, it needs to just be a bipartisan rule where they agree on something and help Americans. Because Kentucky, I'm just focusing on Kentucky because they're our neighbors to the north.
Dar, what do you make of this?
I grew up there.
You're
That's
a
where all my
business
family
guy.
was,
Yeah.
so.
What's happening here? Where's the money, Lebowski?
That's exactly my question. And so my question, if the money's not claimed after X amount of time, what happens to it? Do we
The
know?
money is apparently used, and I don't. That's
so
that's
they're
an
saying
excellent.
the funds are depleted.
Yes. So the funds are running out as it's, and the problem too is that there are people who are getting these letters saying, "I'm sorry, we're denying your benefit claim because we're out of funds." Then that same person will get a letter 2 weeks later saying, "Oh, well, your benefits have been approved. You should receive your card in the mail inside of X amount of days." And then they're receiving yet another. I mean, so you see, it's essentially just debauchery.
It's because they have different overlapping
Now, so
programs.
but then where is
maybe that's it.
the money going?
It's an excellent question. Nobody seems to be able to answer that.
And
Lawyer Wayne?
anytime I hear this, though, Joe, what
Yeah.
always comes to mind? That the Halle Berry and John Travolta movie,
Swordfish?
Swordfish.
Yeah.
Not face off.
Right?
Swordfish.
Yeah.
The money sits there,
Right.
and all of a sudden it gets forgot about, and I don't
It's
know.
gone.
What happens, right? So
It
I'm
doesn't
saying,
I
matter
prefer
anyway.
Halle Berry in Monsters Ball.
Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Halle and Billy
Make me
Bob.
feel good.
Joe likes balls.
we went from
Make me feel good.
conspiracy theory to
Lawyer Wayne, what do you
Joe.
make of this?
Well, the government created the problem with their shutdown rules
Uh-huh.
without a good plan.
Right.
I don't know why we're looking to them to solve the problem that they created.
Exactly.
Right.
But if they don't solve it, I
think
agree
people are-
with you.
people
But
are
if they
looking at
don't
'em to
solve it,
solve it.
who's going to? Is
Kentucky.
the problem.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
People are looking at them to solve
Well, that's
it
the thing
because
is
they cost
Kentucky's
it.
not doing anything either. So essentially, it's
So-
like everyone's just trying to bury their head in the sand. and point a finger at someone else and say, well, it's not my fault, it's your fault. And
it's
and
one
just
of their
I guess
fault.
what they're hoping is that people are just gonna, I don't know, forget, live in a cardboard
No,
box.
they're gonna
I
rise.
mean,
They're gonna
seriously.
take to the
Yeah,
streets.
but even then, they're going to then turn to government again or whoever's
Yeah.
in there to say, okay, fix this mess.
It's creating
And it's like,
government
no,
dependency.
You know, as
Creating
and that's
dependency
what I
on
want to know.
government.
If that's what
the
they're,
real
if
key.
that's a long-term goal of this,
See, that's
I
what I
wonder.
think.
well, let me
is
ask you
to
this. So
suck the teeth.
So they don't have to
it
pay
could
it,
be-
and they're creating government dependency. And also, if you look at it, the median in a lot of these smaller Kentucky counties and cities, most of these people are not making more than minimum wage, which is why they're getting an average of $90 a week. Because, honest to God, you'd have to be making some pretty solid dough to pull in the max. I mean, you really would. That's all there is to it.
Think about this if we were to do this the right way. Just imagine
that would
for a
be
second
nuts.
if you were to sit down and get a bunch of smart people in a room and do it for real. What would we actually do in a pandemic? Well, we would make rules like this. If your business is shut down because all of your employees got COVID, right? We might create some kind of relief for that. If you're an industry that has a high chance of, spreading the disease or something, we might pay you to shut down, right?
There you go.
If we wanted to stop people from exchanging the virus, say at grocery stores, we might, I don't know, provide the grocery store with some money to hire some people to start doing home delivery.
Yeah, that's
Things like that.
that's affordable. I mean, because I know I
You would
use
actually stimulate the
I
economy.
agree.
No, that's still too much government, though.
I know,
That's too
but
much
at least it's government doing
intervention.
ideas that work and accomplish the job.
It's
Because
still
if you
a better
if you
solution than
"Look,
what they've
we're Just
done."
we're just gonna say, all right, everybody's got to shut down.
No,
and now you got to apply for this unemployment.
Here's what government does
Yeah.
in this situation to fix it. You get the hell out of the way.
It could.
You open up businesses again. You stop restricting.
Then they won't have unemployed people.
Exactly.
Well, the problem
let
is
'em
too,
work.
though, is now
you let
that
them pay taxes.
yeah, but now you've got all these businesses that are non-existent. I mean, you've got you go and it's like you drive through some of these smaller towns in these cities and it's a ghost town.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this is going to be an unpopular thing to hear, and I don't even like saying it. This is causing a lot of heartache and a lot of hardship
It
for
is.
a lot of families, and I know many of them personally. I grew up in Kentucky in a small town. All my family still lives in small places in Kentucky.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's all good. It was a great upbringing.
No,
love the
I
place.
love Kentucky. I
But,
love it. It's beautiful.
You know, in a way, the government, and when I say government, I mean federal, state, local, they've done a really good job during my lifetime anyway of creeping more and more into controlling people's lives.
yeah.
And so, in a way, this might have an eventual silver lining.
An awakening.
They've gotten so many people so dependent on the government, and now they can't provide.
Right.
They're not doing what people need, and maybe, just maybe, people will finally wake up and realize that bigger government is not the answer to your problems. The more dependent you are on the government, the more at risk you are of just getting bent over in a situation like this.
I think people
Define
are
bent
waking
over.
up, though.
You really want me to, Joe?
No, I hear you.
How
Government-
banned do you want to get?
Again, government, get out of the way.
I think people.
okay.
I don't remember.
I
who
really
said-
do think people are waking up, though. They have been for a while now, and the problem is it's people are waking up, but they don't have a lead to follow because they don't know what to do. In other words, so it's not. I mean, they're seeing the problem. They're realizing that big government is not the answer. That big government doesn't give a crap about them, but at the same time, what are you? You know, that's the overwhelming vibe that
a
I'm
wise
getting.
man once said,
Was that my wise man? You
government can't solve the problem. Government is the problem.
absolutely.
Is that Reagan?
Ronald Wilson Reagan.
Yeah, I thought so.
Right.
And what there was one who said, talking about the polio vaccine, and polio, that cure was widely regarded as one of the greatest humanitarian feats of its time.
Uh-huh.
And it was done not by the government. They said if the government would have been put in charge of it, they would have came up with the best iron lung known to man, but
Right.
not a
Yeah,
vaccine.
exactly.
Right.
It's always treat the symptoms, never look at curing the problem.
Yeah.
Right. Crazy.
Don't even get me
Well,
started.
that's because
farming.
symptomatic. When
Big
you're
pharma, yeah.
symptomatic, it's better for everyone
money churn.
involved on their
All
end.
right. All right. WTF. Nice job.
Indeed. Thank you.
Red Pill Jen. Comment with your thoughts, the whole bit. Damn. Hang in there, Hopkinsville. But hey, Tennessee, maybe you're next. Keep giving up control.
It's the Joe Padula Show.
Bada bing.
Clarksville's conversation.